Hey crafty friends, it's Joy here for Honeybee Stamps, and I'm going to do a little sneak peek of the new Hello Harvest release. I believe that goes live tonight, so let's get started. This is the Lovely Layers Gallery Wall Art. Isn't that so cute? Look at all those dies. And then this is the Gallery Wall Fall stamp set. There is a coordinating die for that. I will not be using that today. So I've die cut 4 of those picture frames from the Lovely Layers Gallery Wall Art. I did it from a light gray cardstock, and this is the centerpieces to those frames. This is what I want to stamp my images on. So I have a few of these cute fall images for my little gallery wall on my card here. I'm going to do all of my frames in gold mirror cardstock because I love that. But imagine doing them in all different types of colors, and then there's tons more images on that stamp set that you could put in here. So cute, you guys. So I'm going to stamp my little maple leaf here. I think that's a maple leaf, and I did that with lumberjack plaid, and I think I did a little bit of fossilized amber. I'm also going to be using rusty hinge, dusty concord, and I think I do a little bit of wild honey. So I'm going to just ink blend on the stamps themselves, letting the colors overlap together just to get some fun fall colors onto these little picture frame images. I am also using the Homestead Hues Paperpad for my wallpaper. And I'm going to be using the Homestead Hues gem stickers, all from the new release. Everything in here is from that new release. Let me stamp. I'm going to stamp this image. I stamped it once. I'm going to stamp it again because I thought I want to add a little bit of the dusty concord, have a little bit of that purple, a little bit of yellow. I did the wild honey, and a little bit of red. So that is going to be my largest image here. Then I decided to take some vintage photo and just lightly ink blend. Well, not lightly. I started off lightly, then I went heavier around all of my picture frames. I thought it would be fun to make the pictures themselves feel old against the very shiny gold foiled frames. Then I'm going to take the same vintage photo and do a little bit of splatter with it. So I was kind of deciding between my colors, and I am going with vintage photo. I am going to smush this onto my work surface, add a little bit of water, and then with my paintbrush just splatter onto these backgrounds. And I kind of did a bit of a heavier splatter, and I got some bigger splatter. I am stamping the sentiment from the Forever Grateful stamp set, and I'm using the coordinating die. It says, "My heart is full of thanks for you." That's part of the new Hello Harvest release. Of course, you got to have coordinating dies for the sentiments. I just think it makes all the difference when you have a coordinating die for your sentiments on how it looks on your final card design. Okay, so a couple of these frames have some layers, and I'm going to adhere those down. Again, I'm using gold mirror cardstock. I'm using a little bit of liquid glue to adhere those. So again, imagine doing this in different colors of frames, wood, colored frames, silver frames, gold frames, however you want to do it, mix and match. It would be so cute. I kept it cohesive because that's just the look that I was going for today. That is the patterned paper from the Homestead Hues paper. It's this gorgeous, like deep blue, and it almost looks like fabric, but it totally works for wallpaper. I added 1mm foam adhesive behind all of my frames so they can have some dimension. The main reason for that is when I insert the pictures that we created into the frames, I want those pushed back so the frames look like they are thicker than they are, if that makes sense. Just how a normal frame would look, you know, that's always a lot beefier and sticks out further than your image. And then on the bottom right is where I'm going to add my sentiment. I have some 2mm foam adhesive behind that. And I did a little bit of ink blending around that sentiment as well with the vintage photo. And I'm adding some tape runner behind my images, and then we can just adhere them into, or inlay them into our frames. And look at how this is coming to life. I just think it's so cute. This stamp set, the gallery wall fall stamp set is so cute. Like I said, there's so many more images. Okay, let's finish this with our Homestead Hues gem stickers. I went for the coppery looking brown color to add on the background to add a little bit of shine. And I used one on that rectangular frame that has a little hanger. I did it off camera because I forgot to do it, but I added one of the gems there as part of that hanger, like it's hanging on a cute little knob or something like that, or a little hanger piece. So let me get those around, and then we can take a look at this up close. Look at those images. They're so pretty. I love the frames. There's so many details, and there's so many frames, you guys. It is awesome. And I just think this new release is so darling. So thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you feel inspired by this project, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye.